Well, folks, we have reached the halfway point of this afternoon session of boxing. We're also at the halfway point of the men's middleweight division. We've got two more middleweight bouts coming up in the 75 kilogram weight class. And then we'll move on to the big boys, the heavyweights, at 91 kilograms. So let's take a look right now in the ring as we look at the boxers who are making their way towards the apron and into the ring. In the red corner, Drenovak Aleksandr. Frank Schamark, by the way, the referee from Germany. But in the red corner, we have Alexander Drenovak, and in the blue corner, Levgen Khytrov. The judges, Lorado, Trueba, Foti, Justin Bram, will be counting the punches from ringside. Let's look a little bit into the background of these boxers. Alexander Drenovak, 28 years old. We said he's from Serbia. His boxing club is Dynamo Pančevo. He was in the 2010 European Championships in Moscow. He also took second place at the Beogradski Pobednik tournament in Serbia earlier this year. And yesterday he beat Jianting Zhang of China by a score of 18-16, a close one, to make it to the semifinals today. In the blue corner, Evan Khytrov from the Ukraine. He was in the 2010 Ukrainian National Championships where he placed second. He placed first thereafter at the European Cup in Kharkiv, Ukraine, and first earlier this year at the Ukrainian National Championships. He also placed first in Almaty, Kazakhstan earlier this year at the Nurmagomedov tournament, where he beat Jaba Kostavili of Georgia in the final by a score of 19-13. Yesterday, Evan Khytrov beat Zoltan Harksa of Hungary. The referee stopped the contest in the first round at 1:58. That's the equivalent of a technical knockout. So Khytrov stopping his opponent yesterday to get here. Drenovak beating his man by a close margin of 18-16. Drenovak from Serbia, Khytrov from the Ukraine. Boxing is underway here in the men's middleweight division at the 2011 AIBA World Boxing Championships here in Baku, Azerbaijan. This is distinguished among other events because the winner of the round 16, which took place yesterday, that means all of the boxers you're seeing today have earned themselves a spot in the London Olympics next summer, 2012. This is the first qualifying event, this tournament, for the London Games. There will be another opportunity for the boxers who didn't place for a spot in London at this tournament. There'll be an opportunity for them again to get to London. They'll have a continental qualifier event later in the year where each of those boxers will also get a chance. But right now, those boxers you see today have already earned a seat. So there's some good movement by Drenovak here in the first round. He's a tall boxer. He's fit. He's keeping his distance from the Ukrainian. Some good body movement there. Looking for an opportunity to stay in the pocket and score points at the same time. Tougher way to score points from sitting in the pocket than it is from boxing on the outside. However, the rewards could be greater. You need to be inside often to get those big power punches to stop your opponent. It's hard to throw a big power punch when you're too far away. You may be able to rack up some points on the outside with some good boxing skills, scoring some jabs, scoring some right hands from a distance. But if you want to get inside and finish this bout early, get a half day of work from your employer for full pay, figuratively of course, then you're going to need to get inside. You're going to need to get inside, and you're going to need to rip shots to the body and the head. Of course, it's a danger zone. You're more likely to get hit in there, but Khytrov seems more than willing to engage. He's bringing the fight to Drenovak for the most part, while Drenovak seems a little more cautious here through round one. Double left hand by Khytrov. It's a smart way to get inside, to use that jab to get closer to your opponent. There's a big right hand by Khytrov scores on the left temple of Drenovak, and Drenovak seems like he was awakened from that. Might have even just been hurt there. It looks like a left hand perhaps by Khytrov to the right rib cage, the right side of the rib cage of Drenovak may have buckled him a little. And that's the end of round number 1. And the Ukrainian boxer, certainly the more active boxer, comes away with a 9-5 victory for round 1. So a 4-point margin for the Ukrainian going into round 2. You see their action from round 1 where the Ukrainian boxer is pressing the action. He's throwing more punches, where the Serbian boxer is a little more cautious in round 1, looking for his opportunities, waiting for his opportunities, as opposed to creating his opportunities. And now, both boxers getting some final instructions from their corner. There's your score, 9-5, Khytrov over Drenovak. Left hand by Khytrov, again to the ribs. Looks like he's starting to soften up Drenovak's ribs on the right side. Khytrov is really favoring that left hook to the right side of Drenovak's midsection to his rib cage. And it seemed like he even started to hurt him there at the end of the first. And now Khytrov mixing it up. So Khytrov employing a body attack at the end of round 1, and here some more in round 2, and that looks like it's going to serve him well. It looks like he's starting to get to Drenovak. Drenovak, for his part, continues to box from the outside, or try to. He's keeping his distance. I think he's felt the power of Khytrov. And as a result, Khytrov is definitely going to pull away as he started to in round 1. If this pace continues, a big right hand by Khytrov. And there's a left by Drenovak, and now the referee is going to get the standing 8 to Drenovak. So Khytrov is really starting to get inside. He's starting to apply the pressure in an effective enough way where Drenovak is starting to break down. As you see, Khytrov continues to throw punches as he's been doing the entire bout. That was a 6-punch combination right there. And again, Khytrov forces Drenovak to take a knee this time. But again, it looks like it may be a standing 8, unless, of course, not sure what that was. It seems as though Drenovak took a knee, but then went and got his headgear adjusted. In the professionals, you would call that a knockdown. Well, for one thing, there wouldn't be a head guard to adjust, but for two, when you take a knee after the onslaught of punches, as Drenovak was taking, it would seem to be the result of the punches. In this case, Khytrov was going to score those points on Drenovak in the judge's eyes, whether Drenovak took a knee or not. You don't get extra points in amateur boxing for a knockdown. You just get points for the clean punching. So perhaps of no consequence, but at least of note. A left on the hip by Drenovak. There's just under a minute to go in round 2. Now Drenovak starting to show some more activity, throwing more punches. Looks like he's willing to stand in there and engage a little more as Khytrov continues to do his thing right there in the center of the ring. A right hand to the body by Khytrov, a left hook upstairs by Khytrov, well placed. Another left and a right by Khytrov. Khytrov is very busy in there. He's throwing a lot of punches. It's just his style, it seems. Another left hand right there. I mean, if we had a CompuBox, we would probably be doubling, if not tripling, the work rate Khytrov would over Drenovak. If we were counting punches, I'm sure that would be the case. It seems as though Drenovak punches once for every 10 punches that Khytrov throws, if not more. Or perhaps, if not a higher percentage than that. And now the score clearly reflecting the high output by the Ukrainian. 23-11 is the total score after a 14-6 round in favor of the Ukrainian by round number 2. So 23-11, the Ukrainian has a very comfortable lead going into round number 3. Round number 3. Khytrov in the blue corner from Ukraine. Drenovak from Serbia in the red. This is the 2011 AIBA World Boxing Championships. You're watching this either in one of over 100 countries to where it's being broadcast, or you're watching it on AIBA television, AIBABoxingTV.com to be precise. And the Ukrainian boxer, Evan Khytrov, continues to apply the pressure in round 3 as he's done through the entirety of this bout, while Drenovak, Aleksandr Drenovak from Serbia, continues to stay on the outside from a distance that he deems safe for himself, while throwing punches when the opportunities present themselves. As a result of the two contrasting styles, that's why you see a score with such a wide margin as we have. Khytrov, the busier boxer, much more engaging than is Drenovak from a boxing perspective. He engages his opponent. He doesn't wait for his opponent to engage him. He's the engager, whereas Drenovak, the engagee. And now a left hand by Khytrov as he turns. Some good lateral movement by Khytrov. Throws that jab out there. There's just over a minute left in round number 3. The Ukrainian with a healthy margin on the scorecards at this point. A lead right hook over the guard by Drenovak without much consequence. Left to the body, ripped by Drenovak. The referee is going to caution Drenovak for punching a little low. Khytrov does a good job changing his stance, his posture. A left hand by Drenovak. A right hand by Khytrov. Snaps back the head of Drenovak. Another right full short. Look at the bobbing. Look at the weaving. Being executed perfectly by Khytrov. And there again by Drenovak. That was a nice move to get out of the way of a Khytrov fist. Now Drenovak starting to engage. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that in the entire bout. A little bit too late. With under 10 seconds, Drenovak starting to throw some angles, shoot some punches. And that's it, folks. Round 3 is in the books. This bout now is in the books. We only await to see the margin of victory that the Ukrainian enjoys over the Serbian in this bout, but it's clearly going to be a wide margin. He was the more active, more effective, more aggressive boxer. It showed that way on the scorecards through rounds 1 and 2, and it will continue to show that way on the final scores. Stay tuned for just a moment. And there you have it, a very convincing victory. 34-15, a 19-point margin, perhaps the largest margin we've seen so far in this tournament. Congratulations to Evan Khytrov of the Ukraine. You're going on to the semifinals this Friday. Aleksandr Drenovak I'm sure we will see more of you. You did what you could in there today. You could see here at the end of the third round, Drenovak started to show signs of life. It was just too little, too late. And that wraps up the third middleweight division bout for the afternoon.